Alright guys, get your pitchforks out. If you don't have pitchforks, go get some because I know that you guys are going to be mad at me. But here's the caveat. My birthday was yesterday, so it's technically my birthday week, so you can't be mad at me in my birthday week. Right? Okay, so let's get into it. These are my unpopular opinions about Goth. Goth is not a monolith. I do not represent the entire subculture. This is just a fun video to make. And I know that you guys are going to be arguing in the comments, fighting for your life. Alright. I tried to warn you. Okay, so first things first. Don't shoot the messenger. Okay, don't shoot the messenger. But corp goth does not exist. I just don't believe that it's a thing. Like, you're either dressed goth or you're dressed corporate. You can't really blend the two in most industries. Like, when I say that corp goth doesn't exist, I mean it in the way of the way that I see you guys blending your goth aesthetic with the corporate aesthetic that is appropriate for whatever work environment you're in and whatever industry that you have going on. That's not accessible to the masses. That's not an option for everybody. That's not universal. And to be honest, a lot of outfits y'all be posting online to some corp goth is giving off a siren but painted black. Okay? And y'all know damn well that companies don't care about your right to creative self-expression. They want you to exist as an extension of their brand. They view you as a tool, like as a business extension. They view you as an extension of their business in terms of representation of that. They don't really care if you're goth or not, or your ability or your need to have creative self-expression to make you happy. They don't really care about your happiness. They just want you to work. And they don't like care that you work better when you're happy. They just want you to work and be miserable just like everybody else. And so when I say corp goth doesn't exist, that's what I mean by that. Right? I'm coming in hot with the second one. Don't say I didn't warn you. Goth dysmorphia doesn't exist. Alternative dysmorphia doesn't exist. If you believe you are experiencing goth or alternative dysmorphia, you just need to go outside and touch grass. You need to go hit up people in real life in your local goth and alternative scenes and meet real people. I feel like the reason why a lot of people feel like they have goth or alternative dysmorphia is because you're just spending way too much time on social media, following a lot of influencers, following a lot of companies that push this agenda that, and it's not just the fashion industry, it's just like any industry that profits from goth capitalism. They put out these images and these people and these lifestyle creators to create this illusion of you're never going to be whole enough unless you have this perfectly goth lifestyle, this perfectly goth aesthetic, this perfectly goth home, perfectly goth wardrobe, perfectly goth boots collection, perfectly goth purses, and whatever things that you could have going on in your life. And is not rooted in reality. Like, most people don't actually live like that. Like, this is an image that has been curated to sell to us, to get us to buy things, and to make people feel like they're not enough as they are. I promise, if you go outside to your local goth scene and you make friends with people in real life and you go to their house and you hang out with them and you see the wide variety and the diversity that is in the scene, you won't feel that way anymore. A lot of people that go to the goth club don't necessarily look the part. They may be wearing a t-shirt and jeans. They may be wearing khakis and a blazer. They may be in I don't know, they may have some paint stains and stuff on them because they're painters, or they work in the construction industry, or whatever the hell. Like, they don't have this perfectly goth aesthetic that everybody is trying to chase after, that is very unrealistic and very expensive and not fully accessible to everybody. So if you're feeling goth dysmorphia, you probably just need to take a break from engaging in a lot of goth or alternative content online. Maybe you need to follow smaller creators. Maybe you need to diversify your content and follow people who are not just these young, skinny, rich white people. There's indigenous people who are goth. There's African people who are goth. There are Hispanic people who are goth. There's Black people who are goth. There's people with different disabilities and chronic conditions and such who are goth. There's people across all different type of careers who are goth that you can engage in, or just kind of like engage in things that are not strictly goth related. Maybe you just need to diversify your content, because you don't need to have this perfectly goth lifestyle in order to be valid in your goth identity. And that's why I say goth dysmorphia isn't real. It's an illusion that has been pushed onto us that has a capitalist propaganda behind it. It's like, yeah, I inherently know those things, but deep down inside, I know those things, but I still find myself kind of chasing this perfectly goth curated aesthetic. And I just have to take a step back and be like, girl, be for real. People who are not goth, people who are not alts, don't look like me, okay? Like, people who are not alternative are not doing their hair like this. People who are not alternative are not doing their makeup like this. People who are not alternative or goth aren't thinking about whether or not they're showing up in the world as being goth enough. They're just living life. They're not really thinking about whether or not they come across as goth or not. And that should be validating in your identity enough as is. So I don't think it's something that people should have to worry about. And I feel like it's very common to see in like the baby bats, which can be any age, young or old or middle age or whatever. And I just feel like I just have to tell you that it's an illusion. It's not real. And if you find yourself feeling this way, you need to diversify whatever things you are engaging in, because there is a vested interest that is making you feel that way. There are companies that are responsible for making you feel that way. If you ever take a marketing class, if you ever have a sales job, they tell you whatever it is you're selling, you're not selling the thing, you're selling the feelings behind that thing. So if somebody is selling goth clothing, they're not selling goth clothing. They're selling you the idea of validating your goth identity through obvious signs and symbols in your wardrobe, so that you can be easily identifiable amongst your goth peers, and also repel people who aren't goths, who don't like goth people. Like, they're selling you this idea of counterculture. They're not just selling you clothes just to sell you clothes. If somebody's selling home decor, they're not selling home decor just to sell home decor. They're selling you the idea of having a home, making a house into a home, making it welcoming, making it warm, making it inviting, making your home a reflection of your personality, and having elements of your personality represented in that. They're not just selling you what they're selling you. You got to think about, what idea are these people trying to sell me when they're selling me stuff? Not just buying the thing. You got to think about the psychology behind making that thing, and what purpose does it present to the people that want to buy it. Because we don't just buy things because they're things. We buy them because they make us feel a certain way. So you should find ways to feel valid in your goth identity that doesn't revolve around chasing this idea of having this perfectly curated goth lifestyle, goth aesthetic, because unless you're rich, unless you're making at least $100,000 a year, which most people in the US are not, and you don't have all these other financial responsibilities and disabilities and chronic illness conditions and all this other stuff going on, that's going to be very unattainable. And I think that you should probably just take some time to write in a journal what it is you're grateful for. Gratitude is very important, and comparison is the thief of joy. And if you just find yourself feeling like I'm not enough, I think that is an external feeling that is projected onto you. I don't think that is an organic thought that you're thinking of your own volition. It's people who have marketing degrees, psychology degrees, sociology degrees, and advertising degrees, and all this other stuff going on that are specifically in charge of creating that type of consumer psychology within you. I know that most people on the internet would not look at me and how I look right now and have that register as goth, because I'm not wearing black, white, and gray, and black lipstick, and black eyeshadow, and or white face paint. But what we know as trad goth makeup isn't actually trad goth. Like, most goth people weren't actually dressing like that in the 80s. The trad goth aesthetic didn't really start to get popular until like the early 2000s. And it really kind of took off within recent years just because of TikTok. So you're not valid in your identity just because you don't fit into a stereotype that other people created about your identity. Your identity is internal, not external. It's not just what you buy. It's also who you are as a person and what you create, your personality, how you make people feel, and just the overall vibe, the aura that you project out into the world. So if you're finding yourself feeling like you have goth or alternative dysmorphia, you probably just need to take a step back and dig deeper and just do some inner work. Stop shaming people for fast fashion, goth or not. It just comes across as a very tone deaf, very privileged, very high uppity, mighty, whatever the fuck. Most people cannot afford to limit themselves to only handmade, vintage, thrifted, whatever the hell. Some things you can't thrift. I'm not thrifting underwear. I'm not thrifting socks. I'm a size 10 and I can't thrift most shoes. And what I have in the past, they don't last as long. And I end up having to go and buy some brand new shoes any damn ways. So I'm spending even more money because I spent the money on the thrift shoes, didn't work out, and I have to spend even more money on the real shoes. And then the thrift shoes, they just end up in the trash. Or, if I just truly don't want them, I don't feel like wearing them anymore, then they end up back at the thrift store. Or how about the fact that 90% of things that we donate to thrift stores actually end up in landfills? So it causes more waste to try and force yourself to limit yourself to just thrifting and vintage instead of going after things that you actually want. If you have a specific thing that you need to do, a specific place you need to go, a specific activity that you need to engage in where you need something specific and you need it fast, then it's better to just buy it than to try and track it down in the city and like settle for something that you don't want, that is just going to end up in the trash. It just causes more waste when you try and force yourself to settle for something that you don't want or don't need, and it doesn't work out, and it ends up either back at the thrift store or in the landfill, and it's not something that somebody else could get more use out of. When people are looking for Goths fashion stuff online, stop telling people, oh, you shouldn't buy Goths fashion. It's better if you thrift, vintage, or you DIY. That way it's more authentic. Goth is anti-capitalist. Stop with the Amazon haul. Stop with the Shein. Or if you shop at Shein and you're not a real goth because goth is punk, and shut the fuck up. Most people cannot afford to pay full price for goth fashion clothes that are like high end or whatever. And to be honest, a lot of that stuff is fast fashion too. Just because you pay more for it doesn't make it any less fast fashion than the $2 thing you could find on Temu. Just because you paid $90 for it instead of $2 for it doesn't make it better. I'm just gonna say that. And you know what? People have specific things about them that only the fast fashion industry are catering to. Like, I'm tall. I have a long torso. I have long legs. I know that if I want pants, then I need to get long pants. Am I gonna find long pants at the thrift store 9 times out of 10? No. If I need to buy like a dress, like a fitted dress or something, am I gonna find a dress in the thrift store that's long enough to cover my ass? No. But I can find it online. If I need to go to a wedding, a funeral, a baby shower, a birthday party, a work thing, if I need a specific type of uniform for whatever, and I need it today, or I need it like within the next 2-3 days, and I don't have time to go around the city from store to store to store, then I need to order it online. Like, it's delusional and it's unrealistic. A lot of people are disabled and they can't go around to like different places and such to hunt down these things. And a lot of people are immunocompromised, especially with COVID. And it's like, yeah, you can wear gloves and you can wash your hands and you can wear a mask, but a lot of people are immunocompromised and they can't, be in the thrift stores because, believe it or not, the thrift stores don't wash the things they get. And they get stuff from all over the place. They get stuff from the trash, the sewer, hoarders' homes, the deceased, things that have been sitting in attics and basements and stuff for years on end. Like, you're taking a big risk buying something from the thrift store if you're immunocompromised. And granted, factories and stuff aren't the cleanest. And just because you buy something brand new doesn't mean it's clean. But you're not exposing yourself to as much biohazard waste potential as you would at a thrift store. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm just not here for the shaming of people getting fast fashion when a lot of times, depending on who you are and what your body looks like, that's the only thing that's accessible. So, and then also, poor people who buy fast fashion, that's an investment. That's something that they have for years on end. It's the rich people that do these hauls for social media, spending $500, $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 Forever 21, Shein, Temu, whatever the hell, and they do a try on haul, whatever, and then they go return it to the store to get their money back. And then you never see it again. But the stuff that I bought from fast fashion, I still have a lot of stuff that I bought 10 years ago, 12 years ago, and I'm still using. Like I don't treat the things that I have like fast fashion. I don't just wear something once and throw it away. I don't just buy things just to buy things and let them sit in my closet or whatever the hell. So I think that it depends on how you treat fast fashion. But a lot of people who are buying fast fashion are poor and they're not treating it like that. If you're going to be mad at somebody for fast fashion, then you should be mad at the corporations. You should be mad at the government for not placing proper regulations on them. Like, you should be creating a change.org, filing a class action lawsuit, or something like that, rather than blaming your fellow consumers. Because it just, I don't know, it just keeps tone deaf. I don't like it. I don't agree with it. Patches and accessories are not valid alternatives to goth consumerism. Every time somebody gets online, they're like, hey guys, where can I find goth fashion? Where can I find goth boots? Where can I find goth shoes? Where can I find goth shirts, goth dresses, goth whatever? You guys want to get in the comments and be like, goth is anti-consumerism. You should try DIY. You should try patches. You should try accessories. And it's like, yeah, patches are cool or whatever, but I still want that $90 dress I saw on Disturbia. I'm not going to wear something with patches on it to a damn funeral. I'm not going to wear something with patches on it to somebody's wedding. I'm not going to wear something with patches on it to a fucking baby shower. Like, be so fucking for real. Nobody wants to do that shit. Stop lying. Unless you know how to sew and you're going to, like, teach people how to do goth fashion so that they can get a dupe of the actual clothing that they freaking want, then shut the fuck up. Nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to do that. And then speaking of this whole thrift and DIY conversation, sometimes I see you guys post these condescending things online and you're like, oh, you guys are always complaining that there isn't goth fashion at thrift stores, but look at me. I'm wearing an ugly ass floral grandma dress and I just added some chains and boots and fishnets to it. You're not going to find Disturbia or Thrift or whatever like goth brands in the thrift stores. So you just gotta make do with what you do. And it's like, girl, you know damn well somebody's looking for goth fashion. They don't want to wear that ugly ass shit you got on, and you can't out accessorize some ugly ass shit. If you like it, I love it, but I don't want that. I still want what I want. Thanks, I hate it. Bye. Alright, so this is editing me realizing that this video is way too long and I need to make it into 2 parts. So I'm sorry. Let me take these glasses off because of the glare. But I need to make this into 2 parts. So I'm so sorry if you wanted to sit through a whole hour-long video of me talking about, this subject. But I just need to split this into 2 parts. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. My makeup is like sweating off my face and blending in with my highlights. But like if you see you can still see the scales. I use the wig cap to get the scaling effect. If you guys want me to do a makeup tutorial on this later, I will. I think I would just do it anyways, just to show you guys an example of some stuff you want to do in case you want to make your own mermaid theme hair and makeup looks. So, but makeup is makeuping, and we'd love to see it. Okay, bye. This video will be 2 parts. Sorry for the inconvenience.